What bowling balls are going to help you succeed this upcoming league season? Today, we are going to go through some of the best bowling balls from every single brand for your upcoming league season. We're going to focus on all of those house shots so that you can succeed and boost that average up 10 to 15 pins because in bowling, one of the most important factors is the equipment. If you're throwing it perfect, but you have the wrong ball in your hands, you're not going to score well. There's nothing you can do about it. So what we're going to do is try to come up with bowling balls that will help your game in whatever bowling center you're in to try to become the best league bowler you can possibly be. Remember, if you're new here, make sure to drop a subscription. Best way to help support the channel. And if you want to buy any of these bowling balls, I'll have a link down to Bowlers Mart in the description. If you use that link and end up purchasing something, one, let me know. I'd really appreciate it. But two, I get a little bit of a kickback. Huge thank you to Bowlers Mart for helping get that affiliate link going. But let's get into the top 5 league bowling balls from every single bowling brand. We are going to start off with Storm Products. We're going to cover their top 5 league bowling balls. This is going to cover very different reactions, so make sure to stay tuned so you know which bowling balls will fit in your league, in your house shot, compared to a different one. We're actually going to start with the one that Storm said is their best house shot bowling ball, and that is the Equinox. The Storm Equinox was marketed as a really good league and house shot bowling ball. They were actually correct on it. They were dead on. It was awesome to see. This ball's really, really good for those house shots because what you're going to notice, a common theme for all of this, is that asymmetrical pearls are some of the best house shot bowling balls on the market. This Equinox is perfect for it. Strong cover, middle of this road core, middle of the road cover, strong core, my bad. And it is really, really good for that fresh house shot. This is going to be your great game 1 into game 2 bowling ball where you need to play a little bit left, but not really that far. Then you can slowly transition over to your other pearl balls once this one starts burning up, leaving corner pins. This ball is very predictable at the end of the day, where it's going to start leaving some 10 pins, and that's when you know I need to go to some other bowling ball. I need to switch to something else that we'll talk about in just a second. So the Equinox is my number 1 Storm bowling ball for this upcoming season. Coming up next is a ball in the same vein as the Equinox. This one has a similar core to it, but a slightly weaker cover stock. That is the Rotogrip Attention Star. The Attention Star has been around for well over a year now, and it has still been dominating house shots. This was the number 1 house shot bowling ball from Storm for 6 months. Now I believe it's finally been topped by the Equinox, but it is still an incredible bowling ball. If you need to choose between the Equinox or this one, in my opinion, if you notice that there isn't as much oil on your house shot, go with an Attention Star. If there is more oil, go with an Equinox. I think you don't need both of them, but it is good to have one or the other for these fresh house shots. Next up, we're going to go to the ball that you should go to once these bowling balls aren't working well. That is going to be the High Road 40. The High Road 40 is the best weaker bowling ball from Storm Bowling to date. This one is that original High Road core, except it has the same exact cover stock as the Equinox. A little bit stronger than something like that old High Road Pearl that some of you might still have, but does nearly the same thing because oil volumes in bowling centers is slowly going up. That's where this High Road 40 is going to be better. It's going to get a little bit further down lane. It's going to hook a little bit later, but it's going to be a little bit sharper. So when your Equinox or your Attention Star are leaving just flat 7 pins, flat 10 pins, you just switch over to the High Road 40, standing in the same exact spot that you are, and you start striking again. This can be a really good 1-2 combo for a lot of league bowlers. Next up, we're going to help out the guys who have a lot of oil on their house shot or you're speed dominant and need help getting the ball to hook. My favorite option right now for this slot is actually the Rotogrip Rockstar. The Rotogrip Rockstar is a slight quarter of a step below the Phase 2, a little bit sharper down lane, which makes it that little bit better for league patterns. This is going to be one definitely on the fresh where you want to play a little bit straighter. This ball isn't going to love angle all that much. It's going to like playing around 5, 10, even 15 at the arrows, but you don't want to get further left than that. This ball is just going to be strong at the end of the day. It's going to be good for those heavy amounts of volume because on some house shots, they're very cliffed. When we talk about a cliffed pattern, it means the middle of the lane has a lot of oil, the outsides don't have much. So if you miss your spot that you're looking at to the left, as a righty, the ball's never going to hook. If you miss it to the right, the ball overhooks. This Rockstar helps alleviate that problem. This is the ball you want to go to when you're in that situation. And finally, the last one. This is a wild card, and I think is going to be one of the best just overall league bowling balls this season, is the Ion Pro Solid. The Ion Pro Solid is the solid version of that original Ion Pro, but it's way different, which is weird. It's actually sharper, which makes it so much better for league conditions. This is one of Storm's best bowling balls on the market right now. The biggest issue is it's $200. That is the worst part about this bowling ball. Everything else on the list is a little bit cheaper, so that's the biggest negative. However, this Ion Pro Solid is just versatile. Super versatile, can do a ton of different things for a ton of different bowling styles. So if you need just one bowling ball and that's all you want, check out the Ion Pro Solid. If you are getting multiple bowling balls, I think you can go with a couple other things to save a couple of bucks. But if we're going just on performance and reaction, Ion Pro Solid is definitely a top 5 ball. Let's move on to the 7 brands of Brunswick. They have a ton of different options for league, and I feel like a lot of their bowling balls are made a little bit more for league than the other 2 brands. So there's going to be a lot of good options out of the 60 plus that they have right now. But let's go through the top 5. Coming in the first slot is going to be the Black Widow Mania. The Black Widow Mania is a pearl Black Widow. These have always been amazing league bowling balls for years and years and years. Black Widow Mania is exactly like the others in that way, where it's a good league ball. Like I mentioned, asymmetrical pearls are your best friend on a league shot. This is exactly what you're looking for. Strong core, weaker cover. You have a lot more miss room than you do with other cleaner and weaker bowling balls. So at the end of the day, this Black Widow Mania is going to be a really good option, and it's really, really cheap. This is one of the cheapest asymmetrical pearl balls on the market to date. So this is one of the top options from this brand. The next one is actually a newer one. This is going to be the Theorem Solid. The Track Theorem Solid is that solid version of everybody's favorite Theorem, which would have made this list a lot of other years, but I think the Solid might have sneakily taken its spot. This Solid one is amazing. The amount of positive reviews I've seen for this ball is sky high. It looks really good. I've seen it go down the lane a couple of times. It just gives you that forgiveness that you need, where solid bowling balls can be really good when the lane is cliffed. I mentioned that in the Storm portion of this, where there's a lot of oil in the middle, not much on the outsides. The Theorem Solid blends that out really well. It gives you all of that miss room. So if you get to a spot where, like that Black Widow Mania, for example, is just hooking too much when you miss outside and not hooking inside, you stay there with the Theorem Solid, it's going to look a lot better. I think this Theorem Solid might be the house shot ball of the year for the Brunswick brands. And this one's also cheap. Ironically, the expensive balls from Brunswick aren't good on a league shot compared to the cheaper ones. Very weird. The next one, we're going to stay in the asymmetrical camp, and we're going to go with the Hammer Special Effect. The Special Effect is a shiny, solid version of the original Hammer Effect, and I had to debate with myself a little bit, should we put the Effect or the Special in this top 5 list? I ended up going with the Special for one reason, and that's because if you need something stronger, you can sand it and it'll still be really good, but if you need something cleaner, you polish it, and then it gets very close to that original Hammer Effect. That is a really good thing to have, because at the end of the day, no 2 house shots are the same. All house shots are different in whichever ways, because of the lane surfaces, because of the temperature, because of the oil, whatever it may be. They're all radically different in a lot of ways. So if yours feels like a flood, feels like there's a lot of oil, this is a ball that you can sand, good to go. If it feels like there's not much oil, you polish it, you keep it at that box finish, then you're good to go, because it's going to get through that first 30 feet of the lane. That's where the Special Effect shines, because it is just going to be more versatile than a lot of the other options and more versatile than the OG Effect. That's really where I see this ball excel. Again, a ball that hasn't done all that well, unfortunately. It's been overshadowed by a lot of others, but this is still going to be a great choice. The next one is a wild card in this category, and that is going to be the Ebonite Real Time. The Ebonite Real Time was ignored by a lot, but it is really, really cool where it has that medium strength cover, shiny solid, or medium strength core, medium strength cover, shiny solid though. So it's just going to be, again, a weaker version of that special effect that we just referenced, where it's going to be very, very similar in a lot of ways, just in a weaker package. It can be very versatile. You sand it if there's too much oil, you keep it polished if there's not enough oil, but it is that good bridge where if you don't own many bowling balls, if you only have like 3 bowling balls in your bag or even 2 bowling balls in your bag, that's where this real time can come into handy. Now, you could have a bag of just the special effect and the real time and a plastic ball if you want, and that's it. You have a ton of different options just with surface prep. So if you're on a budget, if you don't want many bowling balls, check out this real time. This can be a really good option. And again, dirt cheap right now. The final ball in our top 5 for the brands of Brunswick is going to be the Crown Victory. The Crown Victory is a weaker hybrid bowling ball that is super, super angular. This is a ball that you would use as a ball down from a lot of the other ones we mentioned. In League, you always need that in case of emergency break glass ball. For Storm, this was the High Road 40. This is where the lanes are torched, you have to get deep, and you need something that's going to take out the corner pins. This Crown Victory can be a really good play. If your house shot doesn't have much oil, if you're on wood lanes, anything like that, this Crown Victory, I think, is a ball that you need in some way, shape, or form. You need something like it. You don't need the really strong stuff when there's not much oil. You're just going to leave so many corner pins and gross splits. You're going to 7-10 way too much. You put in the Crown Victory, it's going to be a way different situation. So the Crown Victory is going to round out our top 5 from the brands of Brunswick. Let's move on to Motiv Bowling. Starting with Motiv Bowling now, we have our top 5 list for them. We are going to start off with their greatest ball in the market at the moment, Evoke Hysteria. This is an asymmetrical pearl ball. Again, asim pearls dominate house shots. This one is that extra step of being special. This is a ball that's going to stay in their lineup for a really, really long time. Even though the OG Evoke is gone, may it rest in peace. This Evoke Hysteria is probably going to be around for a while. Bigger core, slightly cleaner cover stock, exactly what's going on with the Equinox and with the Black Widow Mania. This type of ball just does really well. At the end of the day, I've said it multiple times in this video, Evoke Hysteria, definitely your top option. Next, we're going to go to something similar to the Evoke Hysteria, and that is going to be the Steel Forge. The recently released Motiv Steel Forge has the same exact cover, just with a more symmetrical cover or core to it. This is going to be just a slight offshoot of the Evoke Hysteria, where some people don't like the Evoke Hysteria because it is asymmetrical. So if you want a symmetrical ball that's a little more angular down lane, go with the Steel Forge. It has that little bit more strength, a little bit more angle, so it might be better for some of those speed dominant guys or places where you have a little bit more volume, but you need to get further left. Now, out of the two, I recommend the Evoke Hysteria 9 times out of 10, but that Steel Forge can be a great option here as well. Next up, we're going to a dull ball. We're going to go to the brand new Primal Ghost. The Primal Ghost has that stronger cover stock with that primal core of a higher RG, medium differential. This is going to be a good starting ball for League. That higher RG actually helps a lot for the centers that hook a little bit more. So if you need a solid, smoother bowling ball for those conditions where there isn't much volume, but you still need that solid, Primal Ghost is going to be a really good option for you. Now, the price isn't great for a lot of these Motiv balls compared to the ones we've mentioned. That is just how Motiv operates. They're a little bit pricier. But this one could be a really good choice, especially just as that middle-of-the-road benchmark for any Motiv fans as well. Coming in at number 4 is a ball that might be getting forgotten a little bit, and that's the Pride Liberty. The Pride Liberty was a really good house shot ball in 2025, and I'm seeing it to be a good success for 25 and 26 as well for this new League season. It is that hybrid bowling ball that is very versatile, similar to what we mentioned in previous videos and previous arsenals. This ball can be super versatile, where if you sand it, it can be more of a benchmark. If you keep it polished, more acts like a pearl ball and then can be used in a little bit more of a burn situation. There's a lot of guys who only throw the Pride Liberty for their leagues and they adore it. There's a couple bigger names who think this is one of the best, if not the best, just easier shot bowling balls from Motiv. Asymmetrical core, but very, very mild asymmetrical, which makes it great for being able to give you that extra room on a clipped shot. And finally, if you have a high friction center, you don't have much oil on your lanes, Max Thrill Hybrid is going to be a great choice. This is going to be that lowest end bowling ball from Motiv that you can get, where it's just going to be good. It's going to give you a lot of room for error left and right. It's going to be good when there isn't much volume. Now, if you sand it, it can be good on higher volumes, but if you want it for that lower volume, keep it polished, keep it right there. I see a lot of guys really liking this thing playing like up 5 to 10 because it isn't very angular down lane. It's very slow, very smooth, but goes through the pins really well. So if you want to play a little straighter, but all other bowling balls are hooking too much, might want to check out a Max Thrill Hybrid. And those are the top 5 bowling balls from the 3 major bowling brands. Let me know what you think of this list. Do you own any of these, or are you going to pick up any of these bowling balls for this league season that's starting insanely soon? If you guys enjoy what we do here, make sure to drop a subscription like we mentioned. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one.